Do more expensive decoys kill more ducks, or will you have the same result with a decoy that's a fraction of the price? I'm Josh from Boys Outdoors, and today we're talking waterfowl products. So what I've got here is just 3 mallard floaters, and they're all very different in their own ways. The price range is completely different. Starting off here with a cheap one, I believe these are 50 bucks for a dozen. This is the Northern Flight Cabela's mallard decoy. Don't want to hate on them too much. These were actually my first duck decoys I'd ever purchased. The body is totally painted, and one thing I really like about them is if you look, they're squishy. Therefore, on really cold days, they don't crack. And yeah, I've never really had a problem with these floaters at all. The paint's holding up after 3 or 4 seasons pretty well. You know, it's got a weighted keel, so it's always going to be sitting upright. Overall, I'd say it's a very solid decoy if you don't want to spend a lot of money. Now, second here, the kind of mid-range price, I've got the Higdon standard size mallard. So it's just a standard size mallard, just like same size as this. I believe this one's a little bit steeper of a price. This is going to be about 110 bucks for a dozen. And I've had these decoys for about 1 season. I've used them, killed a handful of ducks over them so far. If you take a close look, it's not squishy like the last decoy, but the paint is honestly immaculate. It's a very, very good paint job, in my opinion. And it's a standard size decoy, so it's literally the same size as a regular duck. Once again, it's got that weighted keel, so it's always going to sit upright. And yeah, I've used these decoys in a handful of hunts, and actually I really, really like them. I know Higdon's kind of a hit or miss with looks for decoys, but for a non-flock, totally painted decoy, I think this is honestly a really nice decoy. So yeah, like I said, about 110 bucks for a dozen. Very solid decoy if you are looking to spend a little bit more money, but you don't want to break the bank. My final decoy here, this is the flocked Dakota floater. Dakota Decoy is a very, very bougie duck decoy company. If you're looking to break the bank, you want top notch, this is what you want to get. Now this decoy has been used for a handful of seasons. You can tell by the head there. The flocked head's kind of old, but it still works. So if you don't know what flocked is, it's kind of like fuzz, and that essentially replicates feathers. And the paint job in this decoy is very, very nice. So if you want top notch stuff and you want to break the bank a little bit and have the best gear, Dakota is your way to go. It's going to be very, very expensive. It's going to be about 180 bucks for 6 of them. Yeah, I know it's really expensive, but that's what you're going to have to pay if you want top-notch stuff. So now that we've got an overview of all these decoys, let's kind of dive in and get the pros and cons of each decoy. Starting off with the pros here of the cheap decoy, I really like the squishy body. When it's cold, it really holds up well, it doesn't crack. And I guess all these decoys I have, all dozen of them are still in commission today. And another pro, I kind of like the life-size thing, because some of the big decoys I'm really not a fan of. I just like life-size decoys, if I'm being honest. Now, the cons of this decoy, you kind of get what you pay for. The paint looks like it was done by a machine. It's like not the greatest paint I've ever seen. The head and bill are very unique. I guess there's not really much detail. It's just kind of blobs of paint and then in certain areas, and it doesn't really look like feathers. It just, you know, it just looks like a decoy. Now second, we're gonna go to the Higdon decoy. The pros first. I really like the attention to detail Higdon put into this. They put literal feathers on this decoy. The paint job is honestly wonderful after 1 season. It's still holding up very nice. And once again, I just like the life-size decoys, the ones that are like the exact size of the ducks I'm hunting. Now, I don't know if I really have much cons here for the Higdon decoy, other than the fact the body's not squishy. I mean, that's not a deal breaker for me. It's just an added bonus. Yeah, I've put these decoys through abuse, and they've held up very well, so I guess I don't really have anything bad to say about them. The Dakota decoy. The pros first. I love the flocked head. When it's snowing, it just like sticks on there like it's actual feather. The body shape it's got all the curves, it's got all the features of a real mallard. Another pro is you can turn the heads on these. You can actually remove these, and you can replace these heads if you want to. So yeah, you can do whatever with the head. You can literally turn it 180. 360, and once again got the weighted keel. Very, very solid decoy. The cons, I guess, here, after a handful of years in abuse, the flocking's coming off on this. But like I said, honestly, it's not really a deal breaker because I've put these things through some abuse. And then up here on the chest of the bird, the paint's kind of chipping. You know, not a deal breaker for me. I don't think that really makes a huge difference, but it's just kind of sucks when it happens, but what do you do? But yeah, like I said, this has been a very good decoy to me. All of them still float. They don't have any problems. And hollow body, not foam filled, but none of them have ever cracked on me, so I guess I'm fortunate in that sense. Now that we've kind of assessed the pros and cons, let's take a look at them in the water. If you're watching this video and you're wondering where I got my hat from, the answer is SeekLimits.com. Seek Limits is coming up with a bunch of new products for you guys for this hunting season. You can get a hat just like mine, or you can get a whole different variety. Just make sure you seek your limits with Seek Limits. Head to SeekLimits.com. I'll leave a link down below, and let's get back to the rest of this video. Now first here, we're going to start off with the Cabela's Northern Flight mallard floater, and in the water, yeah, it looks like a duck. The only problem is, if he'll turn for me, they all come in that exact head position. I don't really know if it's a deal breaker or not, but sometimes it's just nice to have, you know, a couple of different head positions, so like all 12 of your decoys aren't looking the exact same. Even the hens have the same head position. So I guess that's kind of back to you get what you pay for, but for 50 bucks a dozen, I guess that's not too terrible. Next up, we're gonna do the Higdon standard size mallard. And right away, you can already tell the difference in detail. of these two decoys. You can tell which one definitely got a little bit more attention to the paint. And what I like about these Higdons, kind of what I was saying about the Northern Flight Cabela's decoys, is these got different head positions. This is the active drake, there's resting drakes, there's resting hens. So yeah, there's just a variety of head positions for this decoy. Very, very solid decoy. I really have nothing bad to say about it. Now the third and final decoy, the big boy, Dakota. And yeah, right away you can already tell the difference in the head there. You can definitely see his body's a lot more defined than the other two, and the paint job's definitely a lot better. And what I like about them, especially the Dakotas, what I like about the Dakotas is they got a really skinny neck. Like a lot of these decoys, they have really thick necks and it looks like they're all just resting, but that skinny neck just kind of makes it look a little bit more active, a little bit more lively to me. View from above, you can definitely tell which one got a little bit more attention and which one kind of was just thrown together for product. Yeah, here's a look at all three decoys chilling in the water. I know it's not a really big body of water, obviously, it's just a tiny little pond. But now back to the original question, will this decoy provide the same results as this one? And if I'm giving my honest opinion from experience of using these decoys, it honestly varies. Like back in the day, I used to throw this decoy a lot early season. Obviously teal wood ducks, they're very dumb early season and they'll literally fly into just about anything. So yeah, I have killed limits of ducks over this, but I think in states that get highly pressured, like the Dakotas and Minnesota here, there comes a point where the ducks just get super smart about the decoys and they get super picky to the point where they see something like this and it just looks unrealistic as heck. Just because you think about it, they've seen every decoy known to man. So when they see something cheap like this that was cheaply made, they definitely take note to that. So I definitely think later season, something like this is definitely a way better option. Something like this is a way better option when the ducks are a lot smarter. But then again, you can also still throw this and you can still kill ducks over it. Honestly, I don't think decoys make that much of a difference when it comes to hunts. I think it's all about your hide and where you're sitting. I mean, obviously decoys will make a little bit of a difference. I think what it boils down to is the pressure of the area you're hunting or the time of the season or the ducks you're hunting. Because like I said, I can throw this in my teal spread literally in September and no mallard looks like that in September, especially around here in Minnesota, and I'll still kill limits of teal over it just because teal literally don't care what they fly into. They'll just fly into any duck. But then come November, I'm throwing this guy in the garage and I'm definitely using this flock Dakota. I honestly don't think it makes that much of a difference, but it's just kind of my personal preference. I use hens all the way until like November when the ducks actually start migrating. We actually get migrator birds. So yeah, back to the question, you can definitely spend 50 bucks on a decoy spread. You can definitely go out there and kill mallard. It's all just preference based. In my opinion, I'm definitely using these two over this, but this will still kill you plenty of ducks. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. If you want more hunting content, make sure you hit subscribe down below. Go check out the channel. Got a bunch of videos for you. Go to seeklimits.com for your Seek Limits apparel, and we'll see you next time.